Hey everyone, I'm Zach Hedgepeth. Graduated from AMSE in 2017. It's a long time ago. But yeah, I'm a data scientist at MasterCard on the financial crime team, fighting financial crime. It's a very important distinction. So yeah, before AMSA, I was at St. John's University in New York City. I'm American, pretty obvious. And I studied economics there. After that, came to Paris my final year of my undergrad to study at Paris Dauphine. Learned I loved France. Not a huge fan of Paris though. Yeah, and then after that, came down to Marseille, where I studied macroeconomics and development. It was an amazing time. Friends for life that I found here. Um, I think the first time I ever used a programming language outside of Stata was in Professor Schulter's class with R or AO. And now I work not with R anymore, of course, with Python. But yeah, so now I work with it every day. And so during my time in school as an intern, it's not up there because I kind of forgot about my internships. I worked at the Federal Reserve as a research intern, International Chamber of Commerce in Paris, or else. Oh yeah, in the Department of Commerce in New York as well. After that, kind of decided to move into the private sector, which was probably a bad idea. But basically, I worked at USAA. It's a bank in the United States in Austin, Texas, for 4 years as a decision science analyst, doing pricing algorithms, risk algorithms for mortgages, home loans, car loans, that kind of stuff. And after that, I decided to move to London because during the pandemic, because who doesn't like Brexit and lockdown, right? And yeah, I worked there for a company called Carbon, which is a digital bank that serves Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria. After that, I was headhunted for a job at MasterCard, where I work now, based also in London. So, and oh, I forgot. Thank you to the school for the trip down here. It was cool. So what is MasterCard? So me personally, I actually do nothing with cards themselves. I do like it's only like the bank transfers. MasterCard is a huge company that basically a monopoly or duopoly with Visa. I mean, there's some companies trying to change that, but we'll see how they succeed with that. So MasterCard being as large as it is, making a fair amount of money that it does, it acquires a lot of smaller companies. The company that I work for is in fact one of those smaller companies. We're actually called Vocalink, but we work with MasterCard. It's like a bunch of companies, but the same company at the same time, kind of like the UK. Doesn't really make much sense. 4 countries, one country. Yeah. But anyways, my company is Vocalink within MasterCard, and we do basically POCs for banks. We say, hey, give us your data and we will find your criminals. So that's kind of what I do. And one project specifically that I worked on is called Trace, which essentially is an anti-money laundering algorithm. We essentially, if I were a criminal, which again, crucially not, I would ask someone for money. I'd ask Tanguy, hey, send me 50 euros. If I can trick him, might not be too difficult, but yeah. And essentially, he sends me that money. I can't keep that money. If I keep that money, my account's going to get shut down. The bank's going to find me. The cops will bust my door in, right? Like something is going to happen that's going to end my time as a criminal, end up in jail, right? So basically, what this trace algorithm does is find not my account, but the account that I'm going to send the money to, like mules. We call them mules. It kind of sounds like Breaking Bad or something like that, right? But it's not. Yeah, it is. It is very cool work though. So essentially, this if this presentation looks a little bit strange, I apologize for that. MasterCard is very particular about what gets sent out externally. So I was just given a sales deck. So basically, I'm pitching you as if you were banks, but yeah, just ignore some of the weirder stuff in here. So yeah, money laundering is about $2 trillion, $2 trillion globally. Crazy amounts of it goes on all over the world. The algorithms that I've built recently, I mean, they find frauds between businesses that can be up to £1 million. It's actually pretty wild what criminals can get away with when they just write up an email that looks legit. And yeah, so and based before we started this, very few of those funds that are laundered get returned or confiscated or frozen, because it can be very difficult to find them. Criminals are extremely sophisticated, and therefore they will take money from one place and send it to 10 other places very quickly if you can't catch them. So um, that's why we created this. And so that, yeah, here exactly, you can see up there that movement of illegal funds. That's me asking Tanguy and succeeding for £20,000. But again, I can't keep that money. I need to send it somewhere ASAP. And so I send it all over the place. Like you can see at the top there that this is in the course of one day. And it's sent in the space of about 12 hours, or no, sorry, 4 hours. It's sent about a dozen times to different accounts. And normally it can actually be much quicker than this. It's actually automated for a lot of people. And that's why it's important that our algorithm can actually detect these accounts and shut them down ASAP. So that's kind of it. Our algorithms are built, like Python, as you'd expect. Generally gradient boosting machines. Large banks tend to really want their data to be interpretable. So we don't get to play around with neural nets as much as you'd want to, but gradient boosting machines, they do the job pretty well. So yeah, and yeah, we have a huge scale of data essentially because if you were working in the fraud department of BNP Paribas or Societe Generale, you would only have Societe Generale's data, whereas at MasterCard we have more or less everyone's data. It's kind of creepy to say, but so yeah, and basically using that data, we can ensure that we can say, oh, this money moved from Societe Generale to BNP Paribas to HSBC to Santander, whatever it may be. We can track that everywhere, and therefore put it to an end, right? Alert the banks, and the banks can put it to an end. So I think that's kind of it. Yeah, this as far as like the actual results of it. We analyze billions of transactions. I mean, just crazy amounts of them. And we detect these mules at a very high rate. And then, like I said, we just forward that on over to the bank themselves, shut them down, and they generally shut them down. And sometimes even report them to the police, for something to be done by the local authorities. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Yeah. So a little bit abrupt, but in any case, yeah, there's my email. And yeah, just hit me up on LinkedIn. MasterCard's jobs page. Yeah, if you go, I'm not sure how the process actually works, but if you apply on the site, I think you put my name in or my email in. I think that's how it works. So by all means, do that. I'm pretty sure, like, if you get hired, I get paid. So honestly, all of you, please come work at MasterCard. So yeah, I think as far as tips, I didn't provide many of them. I would say don't take the schooling overly seriously. Not in like a it's not worth it way, but in a way of like I almost failed my first semester. Actually, I did fail my first semester of M1. I'm still here, right? So it's all good. And yeah, I think Leo mentioned it, the imposter syndrome. That's definitely something I deal with it every day. My boss comes and asks me for a pen, and I feel like a fraud. So it happens. But I think that you just gotta like stick with it, and you're here at this school. This school is an amazing school, so you're worth it. You guys got it right. So that's about it. Yeah, cool. Any questions?